The changing landscape of the housing market in Las Vegas requires a real estate professional that understands how to get your offer accepted, willing to go above and beyond for service and accountability. Hi, my name is Dan French. I've been in the real estate and financing industry for over 13 years. Most real estate agents struggle with answering their phone. Please call me directly, 702-557-6176. I'm available for all your real estate needs.
Dan's a fantastic man. He really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. Is it the 6th? Oh, it is the 6th.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I was on point. I'm Dan French. I'm your host. This is the French Workbench Podcast. We're hosting and streaming live. I'm hosting and streaming live from Las Vegas. And we have a full studio in today. We have a special guest, actually a couple of them. We're going to talk to them here in a second. We have a contractor, Mr. Juan Ortiz.
That's right. This is Juan Ortiz with Home Essentials.
There you go, with Home Essentials. He's here. What's going on, Mr. Juan? Over here. There's Juan. What's going on, Juan? How are you doing today, buddy?
Very good, very good. Thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it, Dan.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on. So we're going to talk to Juan about what's happening with the contracting world, right? And also what's happening with what he does for a living. He's an entrepreneur out here. He really started his business relatively recent. So we're going to talk to Juan about that. We also have Esmeralda Lucia's back. What's going on, Esmeralda?
Yeah.
How are you, Esmeralda? Anything
good.
new?
I don't know. It was a 3-day weekend.
3-day weekend. What did you do?
Okay, so I'm not I drank a little bit more probably than I needed to, but
Dude, what were you drinking? Like, what is your drink of choice? I'm curious.
Oh my God, I'm so simple, guys. I just like Grey Goose and pineapple and a little splash of cranberry, and I'm good.
That's not simple. That was like 5 things. I thought you were like, I'll just take a shot. I just need
I like martinis. That's it. I love
martinis, huh?
Yes.
Did you go anywhere?
I did. Okay, so oh my God, I went to the Palace Station, so I went with some of my cousins and family and stuff, and I was like, I don't want to go to the Palace Station. No offense to anybody, but it was nice. I was like,
who's offended? Palace Stations they're growing. They remodel.
So yeah, I didn't know that though.
I mean, come on, it's not like the Palace Station of the early 2000s.
I know, but I hadn't been there in many years, and I was like, oh wow, I was really impressed.
Speaking of Palace Station, big winners, man. Jackpot over there at the Palace Station.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
boarding pass.
And then I went to the movie theater upstairs, and they have like this bar. It's like it was like a club at the movies. It was crazy. Anyways, it was nice.
So you were partying and drinking and having a club at the movies. Like, see what she does on the weekends?
It's a fun
No,
weekend.
I wasn't planning to. It just happened.
Also in the news, Harry Reid Airport, they had somebody there that was, I guess they skipped bail or they just jumped ship or I don't know what you say, didn't pay their bill at a restaurant, and she got arrested because she said she looked too good.
Oh.
So where were you at, Esmeralda?
Dang.
Where were you at this weekend, Esmeralda?
That didn't work out. No, I was like,
Yeah, she got caught. I mean, dude, that's what a good excuse, right?
She
I look
hey.
too good. That's why you're coming after me. No, you didn't pay your restaurant bill.
What restaurant was this though?
I don't know, some restaurant in the Harry Reid Airport. So I don't know what it was, but
Oh, wow.
I mean, look, come on. Like, what excuse other than I look good? Like, I think I heard it all, right?
Yeah, I've never heard that, but okay. Well, it didn't work, so I guess we won't use that.
You won't be using that one anytime soon. And also, we have a special guest here, Mr. Joseph
What's up,
Loria from Simply Vegas. What's going on, Joseph? How are you?
Good, Dan. I appreciate you for having me on.
Dude.
It's a good day so far, so can't complain.
First time, right? You're an agent. You've been in the business for a year.
Yeah.
You're out in the streets.
Yeah.
What were you thinking in this market?
Well, in my defense, when I got in,
Your defense.
it was a much better market. I got my license December. Oh, no, sorry. I passed my classes December.
Dude,
I
if
got
you
my
can make it
license
in this
January.
market, you're going to make it in any
Any
market. This has
market.
got to be like people are taking their licks in this market
Mm-hmm.
right now, especially if you're a newbie out there.
Yeah.
I really have I have empathy for people like you that are out there in the market right now trying to make a living in real estate. You got some challenges, don't you?
I mean, it's been tough, but I will say, I started off with a lot of connections already in it, which did help me a ton. So that's definitely, been a big pro.
So you had a good network.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I knew a lot of people already in it that were doing great. I come from like a family of investors as well. I have a ton of property in here and California. So I already knew, a lot of the lingo, 1031s, what investors like and things like that. So I kind of made that my niche, and I just grew from there. But yeah, it's definitely slowed down a bit for me since then. But it's still going pretty good. I got a new listing today, so I can't complain.
Dude, you got a listing.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
Now, the only thing about a listing is you got to have a person that's selling the house listen to you. Because if they don't listen to you, you're going to sit on the market 60, 90 days, right?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, definitely the market has shifted. We're not getting bidding wars like we were and things like that. But, if you're in a great area and you have a great house and it's priced accordingly, I think no matter what, you should be able to sell it.
All right, so guys, you guys know the routine here. If you guys have questions about anything, folks out there, for Mr. Ortiz, you have anybody here that you guys have a question for anybody here, please, we're going to answer these questions at the end of the show. So I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown. We're going to talk to Mr. Ortiz about what's happening in the contracting world, talk about some of his challenges. We're also going to talk to Joseph Loria about what's going on with him being a first-time real estate agent. Well, not first time, but a year in, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
not even
1
a year.
year. Not even a year.
No.
Wow. We're going to talk to him about that. And then we're going to talk also about what's going on with, a lot of people out there think, recession. I think there's one key thing that everybody doesn't talk about, which is we still have a strong jobs market, right?
We do.
The labor
Yeah.
market is still thriving. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So let's get right into this. Again, like the channel, subscribe. If you guys have any questions, please put these questions. Also, shout out to Mr. Tim. Taco Tuesday, Tim. Taco Tuesday.
Bring us some tacos. No, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Please.
Dude, order some tacos and have them delivered to the studio.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. And rice and beans.
I'd be like, wait a second, people. We're right in the middle of this, but I got to go get my tacos. I got to get a cerveza.
Corona
Do
for
you,
sure.
do you drink some cervezas over here, Mr.
Yeah.
Juan Ortiz?
Of
Corona
course.
con limón.
There
Una
you go.
tecata.
Yeah, Mr. Juan
Ooh-wee.
Ortiz. So Juan, let's talk, man. You were with Home Essentials, all right? So let's get
That's
into
right.
let's dive into this here. So one of the questions I have for you is there's a lot of people out there that are struggling right now to start a business. Okay, you've been in the game for a long time. How long you been in being a contractor?
Actually, being a contractor, I've been for the last 7 years. I used to be one of the owners of a company. I sold my shares and decided to go independently.
Okay.
To start my own path, my own ideas, my own way to work, in my opinion. And I started almost about a year ago. And it's been a
Yeah.
challenge, let me tell you guys.
It's been a challenge. And
Yeah.
I want to hear some of those stories. Now, where are you from, Juan?
I'm originally born and raised in Venezuela. But
Okay.
my parents are Peruvian, so I consider myself Peruvian.
Okay, are you first generation or second?
Second.
Second generation. So I'm going to say it out there, man. There's a lot of people out there that, always say, well, it's hard to start a business. You did it, right? You came here and your family at least did, and you started here. Was it challenging to kind of get your path on being a contractor? Was that something you knew right away that's what you wanted to do?
Yes, to be honest with you, being a construction industry has been part of our family for many, many years, actually generations. My grandfather was a tile installer as well as my dad. I used to be my dad helper. But honestly, I came to a point that I had to be a contractor. I couldn't do it anymore. I saw my father and my grandfather really sacrifice themselves for the best of their family. And you know what? I was just decided to do this. Even though it's really hard, we're here now.
Well, you're working out in 115-degree weather. Did you guys check that thermometer today? I was like, man,
Yeah.
I don't know
It
if you
was
guys
like
have a
that on
thermometer.
weekend,
but-
though. It was so hot.
Dude, it's crazy out there right now. I was like driving in here and I'm like 115. When's the
Yeah.
last time I saw that, right? So you're out there. I know you do a lot of indoor stuff. So let's
Right.
talk a little bit about, do you do outdoor stuff at all?
Yes, we do that as well. We do,
You do that.
interior remodeling and exterior as well.
So-
residential, commercial.
Mr. Ortiz, just so you guys know, he's a commercial and residential contractor. He does countertops, floors, kitchens, and baths. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the work you've been doing, some of the things that I think a lot of people really were paying for, now maybe have some issues. So let's talk about materials, right? So as a contractor, how much have materials have gone up for you and your company?
Considerably high. I can't really put a price on it because these honestly change on a weekly, sometimes on a monthly basis, sometimes even on a daily basis. So being a contractor nowadays is really hard, especially to give the best price we can or the most accurate estimate we can to our clients. It's becoming a challenge.
It's becoming a challenge.
Yeah.
So you're out there, and let's say somebody comes out, and you're like, hey, I talked to another contractor, and it's like, everybody's comparing. Dude, everybody's shopping everybody right now because of costs, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like 1%, right? You don't take my listing 1%, whatever. It's like, hey, this guy said he could do it for $500, Are you going to do it for $500? No, man, I got to run a
Sí, por
business,
favor, huh?
Yeah.
Everybody's wanting that deal right now. So my question to you is that, are people struggling to really work with you on the price? Because prices are always the first thing people look at and go, do I really want to do this? Do I really need this, right? Because a lot of these costs are probably inflated a bit, right? It's from previous years.
That is correct. Yeah, I mean, it's a supply and demand type of scenario where the more demand they have for materials, our suppliers, they manipulate the prices out there for what the actually contractors need. Our labor prices are honestly haven't changed drastically. What it has changed is actually our supplies, such as examples: doors, windows, panoramic doors, front doors, custom work, things like that.
What is a panoramic door? Explain that to people, because sometimes these terminologies get thrown around. There's I can go into detail, but what is a panoramic door?
It's actually a door, let's say a patio door, where you can visualize or you can see more of your, the outdoor can become part of your indoor by just looking at it. Now, before, the standard door was between 5 and 6 foot wide, 81 inches tall.
Yeah.
Now they're becoming as big as 14, 12, 16 foot long doors, where you can actually see the whole backyard and everybody in it. So.
Yeah, so talking about panoramic doors, you go into these new homes. Okay, we'll talk about, you ever see those stacking doors? That's a very popular thing where it's a sliding glass door where it opens up 2, 3, 4 times, right?
Right.
I've seen it on some of these new homes, the high-end luxury homes, Summerlin.
Yeah, where it folds, right?
Yeah, it folds in together, and it's like, so you got this huge airflow, right? I mean, it's just tons of airflow. And then you turn around on the other side, you got the dining area. So you're sitting here, this is the living room. You're looking outside to the strip view, and you have these things opening up, and there's like 4 doors, right? Then you come around this corner, and then they got another 2 or 3 that are opened up stack. It's like, how much airflow do you need in Las Vegas, right? But I guess if it's 115, you need that. I think that's maybe where you would need that. But do you deal with a lot of those types of orders now, or a lot of people want that? Is that something you look at?
Oh yeah, you honestly, nowadays you'll be surprised what people want. It's more what they want than what they need, in my opinion. But who am I, right? I'm the contractor, and I'll do what the client wants.
So what is the number one thing out there that buyers right now are asking to put into their house inside?
Inside into their homes, honestly, the most common remodels are becoming kitchens.
Kitchens
are becoming more like a show room, like, very nice, very high-end. Matter of fact, they're rarely used because how beautiful they make it, how expensive, how much money they spend on it. They're even afraid to even cook on it, So
it's the kitchen. I mean, I think that's a staple for everybody. I do these, look at these tours and look at all these people that are doing this stuff. Number one thing is, I got to have a good kitchen, right? Yep. It's got to be open. It's got to have a lot of cabinets.
That's right.
You got to have areas of prep. Right, right. I want to prep.
Like
I'm prepping for Thanksgiving in January. Like, I need to prep. But I mean, people want that, right? I mean, they want the areas of prep. They want the openness. So, what are like backsplash? Okay, you go to a builder, right? The builder's going to offer you or ask you to pay a premium. Sometimes it's part of those closing costs. Everybody always rolls them up 10, 15%. That's the thing to say. Now, what is is the cost significantly less working with a contractor like you versus going through a builder?
In my opinion, yes. And it's not just the price. It's actually an overall experience in what you actually do for your own kitchen. Yes, the price is going to be a lot higher on the builder because we all know that they run on a higher cost on the overall overhead, expenses, and everything overall. So dealing with the independent contractor like me, you avoid all of those extra fees and overinflated charges. Second of all is the communication. Communication is pretty much you have to deal with the whole corporation and goes from hand to hand. Your order goes from almost 10 hands later. And sometimes they don't really do what you actually asking to do. In my case, it's only me, my supervisor, and the actually person that does the job, which is the installer. So it's much more customized. We tailor suit everything that you want in your house. We do it accordingly on what you want and not what you are stuck with. That's
Right.
the difference between us and a builder. The builder tells you what you have to pick. And in our case, it's like the homeowner gets what they want.
Juan, do you guys do a lot of bathrooms as well? I know as a real estate agent,
Yeah.
like kitchen and bathrooms are by far, like one of the biggest things you want to upgrade. Do you see that a lot as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the master bathrooms are again just a staple in their master. Is your main room, is your bathroom, is the one that you use every day, and the prettier you look, the more
The wife's happy, right?
Exactly.
The
There you
marble
go.
look, like
Yeah, the
Your wife
marble
happy.
look.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, that was like no kitchen. I think it's number one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I had this contractor come out one time, and they were like, okay, we're gonna give you this flooring, and they had like 7 like cases, right? Here's your low end, right, and they went all the way to the top. Here's your high end, and then there's this and there's that, and then. So my question to you on this is that when you look at where you look at like the flooring, let's talk about the flooring. What are people into today? I mean, I think everybody has a different preference. What is the majority of what people are ordering for flooring? What are you guys putting in?
Right now, on different materials, if it's going to be a cost-effective material, it's going to be a waterproof vinyl planks. They are waterproof. They are relatively inexpensive. The amount of work that we put into it is less than installing a tile floor. So it's really a cost-efficient material. Now, when you wanted a bulletproof material where you can have your pets, your dogs, your babies, and everybody, sitting on it and doing whatever they want, porcelain tile, and they come in different shapes nowadays where, you can get it as close as a wood floor. It looks so real that it's hard to even tell it's tile.
Really? So
Yeah.
so is that like a high end porcelain? Like is that like the high end part, right? Where flooring is that going to cost more for somebody that's going to get into say something versus vinyl wood flooring, right? Because it seems like a lot of the new builders they're putting
had
in
that in my house.
vinyl wood flooring in, or they're putting tile, but are they really putting in the porcelain? I walked in, not at all,
I'm
right?
not seeing it, no.
Not at all, right?
No, I'm only seeing, like you said, like what it looks like wood, but it's actually not.
Right.
Because it's, cost effective and then it looks exactly the same. So, as a buyer, I guess they don't really care. But obviously, you have more insights than me on that, if there is actually a difference to it or not.
Yeah, it's definitely a difference to it. It depends on what your needs are. I mean, if you have pets, the best thing to do is do a tile floor. It's more resistant, it's less to stain, better on the scratches for dogs, wear and tear overall. It's literally on a long-term product that you can have in your house, and it's gonna last you forever.
Got you.
Yeah, vinyl planks are more high maintenance, I will call it. You have to. They're really good.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't call them bulletproof.
Not bulletproof. You go into the builders too, and they always put. So they have carpet, right? I mean, you can say attest to this, but the carpet extends out typically where if you're not going to do an upgrade, it goes all the way to the living room.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where they put those tiles or the wood, or whatever it is, the vinyl wood flooring, it's in wet spots because they don't want to have things happen to the carpet. So my question to you is that when you see all these things that's going on with the builders, why would people not want to just say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do these upgrades. I'm going to call Mr. Juan Ortiz over here. When this thing closes, he's going to swoop in and he's going to take care of my business. So, I mean, you should market that, right? I mean, that's because I think builders are like, what, 3-to-1 versus what you're charging?
Yes, you are honestly right on point. We're about that price, 3-on-1. When it comes to labor, on the labor part of it, when it comes to the materials, it all depends on what the homeowner actually wants to spend on it. It can go from $1 all the way to $10. We have a large variety of prices. But labor-wise, yes. But builders nowadays, to be honest with you, they're making it really hard on homeowners to do that because that's what they want, right? That's want their business, they want an upsell, they want that money to keep in-house. But there's some homeowners that are,
They're savvy.
Yeah, exactly. They do
Right.
the homework,
They're smart.
they're savvy, they call, get some estimates, and ultimately, they hire us.
So what is a job like? Let's say I want to say a lot of them comes with like 4 to 6 inches of backsplash. If I said, okay, I want to take it to the base of the cabinets. What does a job like that typically cost a contractor for you guys?
You know, just in a standard 50 square feet backsplash is $500.
$500
$500
flat.
Flat, right?
I've seen them charge like $2,000-$3,000
way more than that.
for a backsplash minimum. I mean, and that's we're going to roll it into the closing cost, but again, that's still part of the cost,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
So I mean, that's why I say, you know, I'm not saying builders are out to get you, but they're out to get you. I mean,
I'm trying to make money. One thing.
Let me ask you this. I have
yeah.
a question. So let me ask you this. What is your I guess how long is it taking, like if I wanted to remodel my kitchen, right? What is your estimate based on your experience? How long is that prep? How long would that take if you're like, hey, Esmeralda, for us to remodel, put a new cabinet. I'm not let's say not even new cabinets, just paint cabinets, put countertops, do what does that time frame look like?
In honest estimating time is about 2 weeks. 2 weeks from start to finish. But at the same time, we have to get all the materials first. You know, that's what's taking the longest, getting the cabinets, the countertops, and it all depends if you decide to select something that it's available right on the minute, or something that has to be ordered, custom made for you, and takes months to get it. So,
Okay.
One thing
that's
I
pretty
think,
fast.
One thing I think that you brought up a great point, Juan, is the fact that when they're dealing with you, it's just you and your people that work for you. So right now I'm dealing with a home builder. I won't say who it is, but they're one person's having a problem with their oven, and it's like been on back order for months.
Right.
And it's like, how many people is just touching until it goes to the person who's actually going to fix this. I feel like someone like you could definitely you're getting rid of that because you're the boss. You know what's going on, and you just tell your workers. And I just feel like that's a much easier and simpler way, and you just concise the whole process down.
exactly. To be honest with you, yes, we minimize the logistics that big companies, they
All the red
have.
tape.
Exactly, and they take a lot longer for them to get it than we do.
so let's talk a little bit about you, Juan. So we're going to do a background check.
No. Do not call the
So
police,
silly.
please.
No, not like that.
He's like, no, lay down.
No.
Say,
I'm
oh,
just not like that, Juan. I mean, you're taking this to another level, man. I'm talking about like on your situation with your job. Like how long you been a contractor?
I've been a contractor for the last 7 years.
Okay,
Yeah, but
Okay.
independently contractor, 1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
So what made you want to become a contractor? I mean, what out there was like, hey, you know what? Like, this is the direction I want to be. Did you fall into it, or did just something you actually were looking into for most of your life? And we're like, finally, I became a business owner.
Yes, to be honest with you, this is a dream come true for me. We're coming from a
Nice
third
work.
world country. Yeah, we're coming from a third world country where we sacrifice everything we have and we leave it behind. We leave it back home, what we call it back home, and we come to this country for new opportunities. And my father came over and he told me once, he said, like, you know what, you better make it. We left everything behind for you guys, so you better step it up and do it right.
Well, I'm going to say this. So I think there's no excuses out there. Look, I understand that people have issues and challenges and stuff, but I mean, you guys, well, I would say your family. I can't say everybody, but you guys come here, you work hard, you guys thrive, you made things happen. I think it's a mindset, right? And so for you, it's like, okay, well, you had no choice, right? I mean, it was like, hey, I'm going to come here. If I don't make it, where are you going to be? You're going to be out on the streets, right? Because there's nobody here. I mean, do you have family here?
Of course, yes. I am actually married man with 2 kids. My daughter is 17, my son is 12.
Nice.
And yes, I met my wife 20 years ago and I married her a year after. We're
Wow.
19 years married.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
Well, what
thank
is some of
you.
the some of the challenges that you were facing when, like, were you thinking, you know what, man, I'm going to start this business, but I got my family here? Did you ever think in your mind, like, what if this doesn't work out? Like, what if I wouldn't say fail, but what if it doesn't materialize into what I want it to be?
Financial success, right, Dan? Pretty
Right,
much. You
right.
put
I
it on
mean,
the
there's
table.
there's got to be something in the back of your mind. You're thinking, well, hey, I think it's going to work. I got confidence in me.
Yeah.
But this economy has inflation. I'm passing these costs sometimes to the consumer. So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, where do you feel like as far as the concern you had starting your business?
I'm sure we all have those demons, right? Speak to our ear and say, hey, you're not gonna make it. Quit. Go work for somebody else. But no, honestly, it's been great to have the support from my family, especially my wife, my kids, and everybody that is along my side, and working with me and working for me too.
You're a good man, Mr. Juan. Yeah, you're a
Thank
good
you.
man. So let's talk a lot about this. Countertops, okay? Floors, kitchens, baths. What don't you do?
I don't take the dog out, maybe, but if it's needed,
What about
I'll do
electrician? Like, do you do electrical?
Light electrical, yes.
Really?
We relocate, lights, outlets.
What about
put
like
a fan.
fireplaces? Do you put fireplaces?
Of course, we do
Oh,
that.
I think I need
yes.
that project.
That's
for
really
my-
big now too in Vegas. It's crazy. Dan, every model
Yeah.
home these days has, the electronic fireplace in there. And it's like, where did this come from? I don't remember seeing this.
Oh, I love it. It's so hot.
What's your vision on this business? Like, you got to have an 5-year plan, year-to-year plan. But what's your 5-year plan? Like, where do you want to be?
5 years plan, I really want to be set up as an independent contractor that has enough flow to work, and has the reputation as a good company that is serving Las Vegas the best way they can.
I see.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you have that 5-year plan. You obviously want to run a solid business. You want to be successful. Let's talk about Las Vegas, okay? People always say, well, coming to Las Vegas, what do you like and dislike about Las Vegas, okay? So I can tell you I dislike the 115-degree weather today. And I'm going to tell you guys about that rolling blackout in California. You guys are on your own. We're not going to help you guys out. I'm out of here. I'm just but you got to think that Vegas is very hot. It's got opportunity, right? And by the way, you guys know about this rolling blackout stuff. We'll talk about that in a second. But, the opportunities here. What do you like about Las Vegas mostly?
Diversity. Yeah, cultures, people overall, and no other cultures either. Though we don't go to other countries, so I don't visit anywhere else. I know a lot of clients that are for India, Israel, then South America, Europe, and it's really good to know a little bit of everybody. So it's great.
So I want to say this. So we have a question here. DJ brought up. What about pools? Do you guys do pools?
We don't do pools, but we have a source of colleagues and contractors that they do, and we ultimately, do the tile, the quartz, the countertops, the stone, all of that for them.
I'll say this too. Like, there's a lot of people out there that they have a vision, right? And there's a lot of obstacles. And coming from another country and coming from all of these other, you got to think, man. It's like we have it not easy, but we have a lot easier path probably to success
Than most. I'd say.
Than most.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say than everybody, but for you to, it's almost like doubling up for you. Like, you got to go through this hurdle to get to this hurdle to get to this hurdle, right? It's like you got to go through a lot. So I do have some, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about your business, and I really appreciate what you're doing as far as your contracting work, your business, and how things are going for your business. Are you guys doing pretty well, even though we're kind of seeing a lot of inflation? We're seeing problems. Is your company doing well?
Yes, in the first 2 years, it's in a survival mode, right? You have to survive and deal with what it comes to you as a new business. But yes, we're doing well. We're sustaining, and for the service and what we're providing with the price, the quality, and our service that we provide to our clients out there, they keep us busy. They keep us referring us. They keep us busy, and they keep passing the message along that we are a good company.
How do you generate your business, Juan? Is it just like straight word of mouth? Is that how you're doing right now? Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
If you're not marketing yourself at all and spending money, I think that's the.
I got another question here, so I want to talk to. We have running at altitude says upgrades, the cabinets, everything can be done afterwards. Absolutely, right? He's saying pretty much everything that the builder's offering can be done afterwards. So somebody like you would come in and say, okay, look, I understand the builder's offering $25,000 in incentives, but it's still a premium. This is not a typical market, I think, for builders. Builders are kind of in a rough spot, right? So they're offering everything at this point, but majority of the time, it's more cost effective if you come in afterwards and you get the work done by a contractor like yourself, Juan, right?
Yes, that is correct, to be honest. Not only on the money-wise, on how much you can save, but what you actually get for what you're paying for. You get what you want, not what they they make you take.
Last question, and you can't say weather because I already said it.
Okay.
What do you dislike about Las Vegas? And you could say it all the people.
Traffic.
Wow.
Traffic?
Traffic nowadays.
You think
yes.
traffic's bad here?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I mean,
I think it's bad. Okay, so that's my complaint. But I went to California,
I know.
and now I'm sitting here going, wait, maybe traffic isn't that bad here in Nevada. Is it bad?
In my opinion, well, I've been in Las Vegas for the last 20 years, and I can see the increase of cars, traffic, and taking longer from place to place to be. And that's what I'm comparing it to, you know, from the time that I've been here. But I'm pretty sure other people have it worse than we do, right? So.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have it worse, and I think we should be very grateful. Like I said, I want to talk about this rolling blackout thing. I mean, you know, we got this text message today. I'm sure everybody got it, right? That said, don't use your energy between 5 and 8 o'clock tonight, right? And I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to turn everything on at 5 and 8 o'clock because not just like, I just wanted to, you know, go against the grain. But anyways, I think that's something. So what my understanding is California is having rolling blackouts, and they need our energy, so they're actually paying us for our energy, and that's really the reason why I think that we're actually going through that. What do you think?
Wow. No, I want to use my. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, we're gonna be here, so we won't really miss our energy, right? Like.
Are you talking about like atoms and stuff? Or
No.
what?
No.
Like
I mean, I don't think that we should sacrifice our energy, unless they're paying our physical bill.
Yeah, but they're telling us as well to not have your ACs below, what is it?
Yeah.
78?
Yeah.
If you're not home?
That's hot.
Yeah, I agree.
that's hot.
Keep my house at 74.
If
Dude,
it's
I'm not going to 78.
I
Like
agree.
if you're gonna listen, if I'm
115.
paying,
Yeah.
dude, my average bill every month right now during the summertime is $400 to $500.
Yeah.
Why the hell am I going to go to 78? You know what I mean?
Last
I
month-
need it.
Last month, my energy bill went up $100.
115. Well, the thing is that
Hey.
California is not hot like we are here. I
They're
mean, they're
actually
hot,
pretty hot
but,
right now.
but not like
Over
Vegas.
90s, yeah.
Yeah. I know,
It's
like,
rare to
I'm from
see
LA, so all my family lives in Burbank, which is LA. And I
Yeah.
know, like, just last week, it was like 110.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they actually are, like, up there right now with us. Even San Fran, I work with a client
Hey,
from
but
there.
you know what? That comes
It's
back to
90 degrees.
leadership. You know, if you're going to run your state, no, I'm just playing. I don't wanna get into that. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, so that's why we have a lot of Californians coming to Las Vegas. We all know that,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So there you
And
go.
better taxes. It's the biggest reason.
Oh,
It's
huge.
the reason my family left.
All right, so you know what time it is. What was that? Anyways, let's go. All right, so let's go over here. We're going to talk to
Joseph Laurie,
Mr.
Simply
George.
Vegas.
Yeah, you took it right out of my
My bad,
mouth.
you know, I didn't know if you were going to introduce me or
No,
not.
I was going to introduce you.
All right.
I'm trying to give you the beat here. Hold on. Oh, that's not it. Okay, we'll do that one. Mr. Joseph Loria here from Simply Vegas. What's going on, Joseph?
You know, just another day in paradise, Dan. Working hard, trying to make some money.
Dude, so let me say this, all right? So you're out there in the trenches. You're seeing a lot of problems out there with people trying to get into homes, and you took a listing. What were you thinking?
I'm just thinking that it's a great property in a great area. So if you're interested, contact me.
Because you know damn well, excuse my language, but you know darn well that those sellers want everything above,
Oh,
right?
top price.
Top dollar,
Top price,
right?
yep.
So how do you negotiate that with a seller?
Well, I just always, obviously, you know, you show them comps. You know, these are pretty simple things any realtor will do, but you're going to show them comps, and then you're going to kind of compare it to their house. So in my situation, this lady's house was fully upgraded, Pebble Tech pool, wet bar, bar in the pool, 11,000 square foot lot. So it's hard to compare. And that's how we get our price. Also, a huge thing, at least in Henderson, that I've noticed is we don't have a lot of good schools. If I'm being honest, I went to school here. I can tell you they're not the best. But this
In what
lady-
way do they like tell you like why is it not a good school? Because I hear this a lot.
Yeah.
Like, why are schools, in your opinion, not a good place to be here in Las Vegas?
Oh, I'm just going by rankings. I personally never had any problems in high school. I went to college, all that good stuff. But if we're just going ranking wise, CCSD, Clark County School District, is the last in the entire U.S. So that's pretty insane to think about. I mean, you know, there's a lot of worse places in Vegas, but for us to have the worst rated school district is pretty crazy. But my point of all this is,
So how do you get around that? Like, you have people coming from out
Private
of state.
school.
Well, you got people coming from out of state. What if you can't afford it?
Yeah.
Right? You can't afford, let's say
Charter
it's
schools.
30,
charter schools
$300.
are free. Yeah, that's what I was
Charter
going to say.
schools.
Charter
Yeah.
schools, I have a lot of people I grew up with here who are now, like, if they have family, like their little brothers are going to charter schools and things like that. It's given better opportunities. I hate to say it, I think it's just a teaching. I don't think we spend a lot of money on our, education, school, school
Well, we're
district in
spending it
Vegas.
too much on places like the library. It's like if you got to set up. I mean,
golf course.
listen.
Yeah.
If you want to educate your people, take them to the library, right?
Take
That's
them
what
to
you
the
say,
lab.
right?
Right. I mean, I don't know.
I don't mean the one
different.
on the Las Vegas Strip. I mean the real library.
The old one.
He's over there all the time.
Oh, yeah.
He's VIP. Like,
But go ahead, talk. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. So like, at least in this listing, this is obviously very personal to this one house, but like she's zoned for the only A rating high school in all of Henderson. So that right there is just a huge sell for anyone moving here. I mean, imagine if you look online and you see, oh, this one school's rated D minus, and you're coming from a C or even a B, like that, you're worrying about your kids. But then okay, this school in this area is rated an A. That's a huge selling point, and at least that's what I've seen in my experience.
So look, I'm going to say this. So you're out there in the trenches. Everybody's like, it's a new agent. Dude, what are you going through right now? Like, I want to know what your daily routine is. Is it like
What are you
pound the calls for 4 hours, and then I got to like make some emails, and then I got to, get on my knees and beg somebody to do something. What's going on
dialing
out there?
for dollars.
Yeah,
Is
so
that you?
actually, believe it or not, I've never had anyone say like, oh, you look young. If anything, it's a good thing. I've always had people tell me like, you work hard and you're hungry.
Dude, you got some tats.
I think that, oh yeah, I do. I got a couple.
Are you tatted up on the
I'm
on
tatted
the
up.
sleeve?
Yeah, I'm tatted up. I can't lie.
Really?
Yeah, thanks for
Do
bringing that up, Dan.
you
I
feel like
appreciate
you
it.
like when
And
you go out
then
there?
he got a hype. He's like, thank you.
I'm like, yeah, actually.
He's like, yeah, man, I got it right here. Look at this.
Look at this.
Buy now.
I covered it up for a reason.
So let me say this. Do you think like out there you have a lot of people that are struggling to get their mindset straight that this is a good time to buy a house? Because everybody says to me, I'm waiting 6 months. Call me in 2 months. I think that check's coming through. People, if you want to buy, you're going to buy, right?
Yeah.
So what are you hearing out there?
So in my opinion, I think it's the best time to buy because like, let's say earlier in the year, 2020, when I got my license, I'm talking to everyone. Oh, we're waiting for prices to go down. We're getting bidding wars, all these things. And now that that's not happening, it's like, oh, we're waiting for interest rates to go down. People just don't realize, like historical facts. I'm sure Dan knows better than me. But interest rates right now are at a pretty like average rate through time, right? Not in the last 2 years, but through the last 40 years, 5%, 6% is nothing insane.
Well, let me say this. So I'm going to push back a little bit.
All right, push back.
All right.
I'm
And
ready.
I want that flow. I want that
go.
vibe, right? So, all right, here's what I'm going to say is you can say that rates aren't that high and they haven't been that high. Now, you have inflation. You have people's wages not increasing fast enough with inflation,
Yeah.
and you have the highest all-time prices in homes that we've ever seen here in Las Vegas. So I'm out of the market. I'm just going to be honest, unless you can convince me otherwise. So
Yeah.
tell me why somebody would want to buy.
Well, so obviously, let's just start with inflation. So inflation, your money is burning. Right now, they say it's 9%, or it just went to like 8.72. I think we all would say it's more than that. At least when I buy my groceries, it's more than a 9% increase. That's what I'm seeing. All my bills. And then, so let's say you're priced out the market. I say real estate's a long game. Like I said, I grew up with a family of straight investors. They own tons of commercial properties in here and California and residential. If you're playing the long game, does it really matter? I mean, like
That's a good point.
Does it
Now,
matter if you're not going to sell your home in
let me
5
say
years?
this though. So, what if you can't sustain the mortgage payment? Because everybody wants to know, am I going to be mortgage broke, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, I can get into a house and I can be, dude, what do you do for the first, for that year?
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
what if rates don't go anywhere?
Well, yeah, and I don't expect rates to go down like anything crazy in the next year. So that's a great point, Dan. What I would say is if you think you're gonna be mortgage broke, just bump down your price range a little bit, right? Or maybe save up for an extra 6 months, get a bigger down payment, get down payment assistance from someone like Dan. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to work around it. Obviously, you have to talk to the right people, but I'd always think there's a way to, if you're renting, I hate to say it, you're paying for someone else's mortgage. So why not just build up your own equity, pay your own mortgage, get a roommate, house hack? There's so many ways to go about it. At the end of the day, I've never heard anyone say, I regret buying this asset.
So here's one of the things that a lot of these banks and a lot of these builders are doing, the 2-1 buy down. You guys heard about this?
Yes.
Esmeralda heard about it. Esmeralda, do you know anything about that?
I do.
Okay, can
It's
you
a
talk
great
to us?
loan.
Talk to us about it.
So this loan is basically, and you guys, I don't know the interest rates. Obviously, I'm not a loan officer, but what
They're only 10%. Go ahead.
so what I heard is, so the first year you would get it, we'll just say estimate at 2.75. The next year you would get it at 3.75, and then the remainder of the years it would be like 4.75. So it puts you in a position where if you're not in a place where you feel like it's in a place where it's affordable for you, right?
So it makes your mortgage lower.
Yeah,
lower,
for the
correct?
first 2 years. I mean, we don't know what will happen in 3 years, but at least for the 2 years, you're secure for that interest rate. And let's say that 4.75 is still a good interest rate, but you could always refinance if the interest rates fluctuate and change within the next couple of years.
So here's the real thing too about this is that you're buying into the rate. So you have to actually buy into points. Builders are making this available because why? Builders know that they're not moving inventory. They're not building. They've stopped building altogether, right?
Lots of inventory right now. I'm seeing in the
Yeah,
market.
tons of inventory, right? So you have to look at it and go, okay, well, this is another tool in their tool belt to say 2-1 buy down. You go in and you say, okay, well, if you start off with a lower rate, then you could sustain the payment for that first year. Second year, okay, it goes a little bit higher. Third year, boom.
Refi.
Now you're like at that full hit, right? You're just now you could
gotcha.
refi.
If low, only if rates
Now
go
here's
lower,
the
of
question,
course.
though.
If it fluctuates lower, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now here's the question though. Let's say it costs you 10 or 15 grand to buy that 2 points down. Let's say that's what it costs you. You're not going to recoup that money back. Because now you got to look at it and go, okay, well, I spent 15 grand. I'm just going to say, let's say 10. Okay, how many months is it going to take for me to get that money back? And I think that's the thing about it is there's always a good part.
And so
More often there's a bad part to it, or there's an other side to it. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, hey, you know what? It's like payment shock. I always tell people, you get into a jumbo loan, go do an ARM loan, right? You might have a better rate. It's fixed for 5, 7, 10 years, and then it adjusts every year after. Why would you not want to do that? But again, this is a case by case.
Right.
I think it's psychologically people are just checked out, dude. They're just out of this market right now.
I also think, at least what I'm seeing is a lot of people will be like, yes, I want to buy right now. I do see prices have gone down, even if it's a cash buyer where interest rates don't matter, but they just think it's going to go lower, right? So it's that thing where like, it's like investing where it's like, no one could, say what the bottom is. So if you see it going down, I always think, it's going to eventually go back up, right? Especially real estate. Look at historical, rates.
So let's go back to you. And let's just put the light right on you.
Let's do it.
And ask about what's going on in your world. So you have a buyer's broker agreement happening today.
Yeah.
What is that?
All right, so just a little backstory. I'll explain everything. So I had a guy call me yesterday. He's like, oh man, Joe, my lease ends the end of October. I need to find a house ASAP. Gives me all his criteria, all that good stuff. I start sending him homes. We have an appointment to view 2 homes today, starting at 11 to 12. And then he calls me at 10 a.m. this morning. He's like, oh, actually, I was working with another realtor, but I'm not going to say their name, but they didn't do a good job, right? They didn't show me one home in a whole month of me working with them. They barely sent me anything. Joe, in 1 day of speaking to you, you've already, booked 2 appointments for us tomorrow. I like the way you do business. But when I called them, they said, I can't use you. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And he didn't know he signed a buyer's brokerage agreement, which is pretty much, a contract to you saying, it's usually 3 months of you saying, I'm going to only work with this specific realtor. Most realtors that I know don't use that because if you don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with you,
So what do you know what a buyer? So what is technically a buyer's broker agreement? Eliminates you from working with other realtors, or if they work with that. So they have this thing called procuring cause, right?
Yes.
So talk about that.
So buyer's brokerage agreement is I sign up, I'm gonna use Dan. If I don't like Dan, I can't leave Dan. It does not matter. I have a legally binding contract saying I'm using Dan.
By the way, I wouldn't leave me either, but go ahead.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But so let's just say that. But this lady doesn't have procuring cause because she never showed him any properties in the whole month. But she still has a legally binding contract saying he's only gonna work with her. So he was really mad. He drove down to the brokerage's office, talked to them. He gave me a call back pretty much saying he legally can't get out. They won't let him out, but they'll refer him to another person on their team. So it didn't work out for me. I hope it works out for him. I kind of shot him a text saying, if anything doesn't work out, let me know. I'll send him a referral fee.
So it's only 3 months.
It's only 3 months, but his lease ends in October. So it doesn't matter because he needs obviously a house before his lease runs up. So that situation didn't work out. But I would just recommend, obviously I'm a real estate agent, but I don't make anyone sign a buyer's brokerage agreement. Because if you don't want to work with me, then you shouldn't have to. That's the way I look at it, at least.
Well, I'm gonna just look at them and tear it up. That's what I'm gonna do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So he's gonna
exactly.
put him in a.
I can't do that.
But these guys,
He's
obviously,
like, I'm with you for 6 months.
Yeah, these guys, I've never dealt with this. I know I've only been in this for 8 months, but I've never dealt with this. I talked to everyone in my brokerage. There's nothing I could legally do about it. I could just say, hey, I'll give you a referral fee if you let me work with him. But they, they pretty much had him in a legally binding contract. So what can he do?
Yeah.
So I want to bring this up. So a lot of people in business, and you can talk about this, Mr. Juan Ortiz, and you as well, you just started. Most people have to fail, and I'm not saying you failed, but there's a point in time where you get into doing business, and it's like, okay, it's not going the way it needs to go. And you have to have some humbleness, humility, right? And I'm going to talk about this. So in your position, when you're going through this process, have you guys ever hit a point where you feel like you failed, or you hit a point where it's like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore? Because you got buyers brokers agreements, you got, COVID, and you got inflation, and people are trying to say, hey man, this guy said it was $4.99 and you're charging me $500. I want that dollar, right? So, I mean, is that happening to you over Mr. Juan?
Yeah, of course. It's everybody's different, I would say, and then we go through different experiences, but we got a big hopes, that things are gonna turn around, and
you got a big gun too, right?
That's
No,
right.
just
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
just
Bad
you don't
gun,
pay
guys,
me,
sorry.
I'm at your house, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
No, we actually go, and sign a legal contract agreement. We ask for a deposit. We get everything seriously because we are a serious company that you're dealing with. We're a serious company.
You guys are serious, and I think, and like for you, I mean, you guys potentially. People sometimes have to fail. I'm not saying everybody fails, but I think that there's a lot more of a learning position when you fail at something. You'll gain more than just say, hey man, it's all, like I've seen people where they just succeeded like crazy, right? And then all of a sudden when adversity hits, things change, market changes, stuff stops. They're like, what do I do now?
Yeah, they're not
Where
used to
do
it.
I go? Like,
As long as you don't jump like, what's his name from Bath and Body?
Oh, the CFO jumped off a building. Yeah.
Bath and Body jumped?
He killed himself.
He killed himself.
Yeah.
He jumped off he had.
But he was actually getting investigated for insider trading.
Yeah.
That's a real
Well, yeah,
reason.
he had over $1 billion in stock, and he knew that the company there were going to be layoffs and certain things, and
Wow.
he made some different
So no jumping.
decisions that were probably not beneficial.
You guys aren't going to jump?
No,
I like
we're
buying.
not.
Juan, you're not going to jump?
No.
John, I'll go to the Juan. I'll go to the top. And we'll look down, and I'll say,
No.
should we or should we not? You can tell me yes.
And I'm going to be down at the bottom. Hey, you guys, I'm at the pool swimming. I hope it works. I'll send a
No,
nice.
I wouldn't say to do that. But I think there's a point in business, and this is where I'm going with this, is that when you start a business, it's not always going to be where you just consist. Like, I think that first 5-year plan, like everybody says, that's the hardest part. And Esmeralda always talked to me about the fact of like, hey, you can't give up. You got to keep going. Like,
positive.
she's like got these motivational speeches that she should be out there just like talking that she never talks here. She's like, the world needs to follow
and his
these
friend hung
this
up on me.
plan.
I was being too positive.
Nice.
He's like,
That's
click.
good.
Well, listen. So talk. I mean, you know it. So talk. I mean, you tell me a little bit about what your speeches go off of. I just want to know a little bit.
I just believe that, no matter what happens, I think you should always be positive, and having a positive outlook in anything is better than having a negative outlook. A negative outlook doesn't motivate you to do anything. It's like you're going backwards, like the opposite.
Agreed.
It's good to acknowledge things that are not working out, but it doesn't mean that you got to live in that mindset.
Yeah.
You could still be positive and acknowledge, hey, this is not working the way it needs to. So that's where you have to figure out solutions instead of looking at the situation and looking hopeless, and figure out how you can get out of it, or what else can you do to,
I think
overcome.
part of our industry, especially being an entrepreneur, right, or also being a realtor, is self-leadership. And what I say is that you have to lead yourself before you can lead others, right? And I think that's kind of what you're saying, is there's got to be a regiment of things that you do on a daily basis. It's like, that's why I think our industries always gravitate to coaches and gravitate to people, because they don't have self-leadership in a sense of knowing how to do it, maybe a daily routine or daily workmanship that you need to do, or workwomanship
Yeah.
of something that needs to take place. And I think that's what you're saying is you got to have systems in place. You got to have things in place that will support and help your business,
and you gotta
right?
have positive people. You got to have people that are positive around you that help uplift you. And because when you are in those moments, you got to have people that speak to you in a way that they get you excited. Like, you know what? You're right. I need to snap out of this. Like, okay, like what else can I do? And sometimes the systems you have might not be the systems that work for that situation, and you need to find some new ones. And vice versa. And that's okay. That's why you should have coaches. That's why you should have other people that might have ideas that you don't have today that you need to get you through the next situation, right? So I don't know. I believe that you should have a crew of positive folks.
I agree.
Yeah.
A big negative doesn't do anything. That's why I look at it.
It just doesn't
draws more
motivate you,
negativity
really.
in your life.
100%. Are you guys ready to move on to the next topic here?
All right, let's
We
do
have one
it.
more topic to discuss.
Oh goodness.
All right,
Right.
so let's talk about this topic here. The topic today
I feel like
is-
you need to hit that bond. He's done.
I gotta get a dong button. Like, hit the dong button, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You're out of here.
Hasta ya.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's happening here with people talk about recession. They talk about jobs. They talk about security. They talk about what's happening with job gains. So let's talk a little bit about non-farms payroll come in at 315,000. Numerous signs out there for people thinking we're in a recession. Eyeball test says we're all in a recession, right? Or
Yeah.
we've been in a recession. You also have people still working though. And, you know, talking to you, Juan, you said, hey man, it's hard to get skilled labor, but are you still hiring people, right? You're still hiring people?
Of course, yeah. We're still hiring people, but we go to an extensive hiring process. Yet is to, these installers that we hire, they have to be qualified in order to do work in their homeowners. That's the only way we can stay alive. We can, give
Right.
the best service we can,
Right.
best quality we can. And right now, to be honest with you, yes, in construction, it's very hard to find honest and good skilled people.
Do you ever train people, Juan? Like, let's say someone's
Yeah.
coming to you, they're super motivated, but they're like, I have no idea what to do.
Right.
Did you do that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
They start from from being a laborer, and then we show them skills as they progress. They go up in the ranks.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think you're looking at this. You have job openings are still over 11 million, and the big thing you look at is demographics, right, and productivity. And we're still seeing now some of these jobs, the higher paying jobs, or I would say the higher skilled jobs, the baby boomers, the people that are a little bit longer on the tooth, they're leaving those jobs, right? They're exiting those jobs. And what a lot of these Americans and people in government, everybody was thinking, well, we're going to have immigrants and we're going to have robots come in and replace those jobs, right? And so what they're saying is that there's nobody replacing those jobs. So even though we see there's not.
No robots yet.
Listen, at Walmart you might have some robots, but I mean, right? I mean, you go to Walmart or places like that.
I have a robot in my house that cleans my
The
floor.
vacuum.
Oh, what's
Yes.
that
Do
called?
you really?
I do.
I bought my grandma one. What's this? Oh, I forget what it's called. Starts with the R. right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it mops for me. So I
It
called her
mops, I
Ruby.
didn't know that.
So I'm like, Ruby, it's time for you to mop the kitchen, and she's like, on my way.
Wow. that's
Dude, it's like
cool.
the Jetsons. You remember that shit? I'm telling you right now. So, but I'm saying the demographics and productivity
Right.
is really where the workforce is really kind of focused on. The problem is that I feel that, yes, we're getting more jobs, and they say that we have more jobs on the table. But you see, like, the people that are like have, let's say they're educated, they have, I'm not saying not everybody's educated, but they went to college, they have a degree or a master's degree. They're the ones that have actually been unemployed, which is kind of weird, right? So it's the labor numbers that you're seeing are people that are maybe less skilled with whatever craft or whatever they're doing. And I don't know. I think that's numbers. And as long as that goes on, the Fed's going to keep raising those I feel they're going to keep raising the Fed's fund rate. They're going to still have inflation be a problem. The only two things that's going to slow this down or kind of get things back to normal, and I'm not saying this is the answer, is the housing market has to get back, right? And so how does that get back? Well, the rates have to come down, and so does inflation. Well, inflation, yes, I understand they're raising the Fed's fund rate. Is that really an ingredient to get the, get this,
down?
yeah, the inflation down, get these numbers down that we see? Because that's kind of what I'm seeing. So the jobs numbers is the last thing to fall, is what everybody's
Right.
saying before we're in a full recession. Now, you guys feel the eyeball test. Do you feel like we're regressing as an economy?
Personally, I do. I think you brought up a great point, Dan. I have a lot of friends that are just now graduating college, went to great colleges like Pepperdine, UCLA, USC. These guys cannot get jobs. And like
They can't, right?
No, they can't. I know they're applying. Like they come from, good families, have a lot of pressure on them. So I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I really don't understand, because I see on the news every day, oh, all these jobs, we can't find people to fill them. But I have all these friends who went to amazing colleges, super, financially literate, smart, educated, and they cannot find a job for the life of them. So I think there's like a disconnect on what's truly happening. Like, yeah, maybe Wendy's is hiring. But there's a reason when I go to Wendy's, it says now hiring. No one wants to work there. Like, I wouldn't work for $10 an hour.
Right.
Who would really want to do that?
And I think that's Americans are starting to kind of wake up a little bit, in the sense that there's easy money out there, right? You got a lot of YouTubers, TikTokers, all these people, business owners, people that are saying, hey, you know what? I'm not going to go work for somebody else's dream. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're working for somebody else's dream, or working for somebody else's profit, but you're not working for yourself. You're not paying yourself forward. Now, I'm not saying you don't got to put your time in, because look, when I was a kid, I went and worked when I was 16. I went to school.
What job did you work?
I worked at a fast food joint, right, in California. Went to school, saved money, bought my own car. I did a lot of things on my own, which teaches you things, right?
Definitely.
But what I'm saying is that when you get to a certain age, let's say your 30s, right? Late 20s, early 30s, something goes off in your mind, and you're like, you know what? I want something for me now.
Yeah.
Like, because I've been giving something to somebody else for so long.
Exactly.
Right.
Right? And I think that's kind of where people are at, is that's cool and that's great, but at the same time, I need to pay myself forward as well. And so when you look at this economy and you look at, where people are at mentally, people want to have and hedge against inflation, I think. And I think these things that you see, you look at consumption, right? Credit cards are getting more expensive. HELOCs are more expensive. Mortgage rates are more expensive. Costs are more expensive. You talked about the store.
Yeah.
But
Where does it stop?
Wages aren't going up, just like you said.
Right, they're not
Yeah,
going
not at
up.
all.
So what do you do, right? So you got to figure out, how do I create it? Now everybody's thinking, dude, I'm not going to go into something that I'm already going to not succeed. Again, I'm not saying don't put your time in, but people are trying to figure out, how do I have 2 or 3 different sources of income? How do I become an entrepreneur, or somebody that really has all these different tangibles and these tentacles going out that says, I got something coming in from here. And I think that's what people are really focused on today.
Not only that, I would say, like, at least people I know, they want a job as like vertical integration, where like they can move up the ladder. And I feel like you just don't see that type of like jobs anymore, where it's like, oh, we're going to hire outside the company. Even if you've been an account manager for 5 years, like, we're not going to, bump you up. We're going to go hire someone else. And I feel like that's why we see so much job hopping. Like, I know my parents are loyal to their job. Everyone I know, there's no loyalty to jobs these days. It's like, who's going to pay me the most? Who's going to be the best money for my work? And then after that, after 3 years, I'm going to go apply for another job, because I'm not going to get, bumped up in pay or get that promotion. So I definitely think, those are all those things to think about. At least people in my generation think about, where like, I have no loyalty to a job. I'm just trying to get the most money I can.
Right.
Well, I think, and again, I'm not saying, like, people always say, well, it's a Generation X, or it's a Generation Z, or whatever it is. Whatever, I don't know, whatever generation that is.
Yeah.
There's like 5 of them below me, but anyways, whatever generation it is. I know, I know as hell, But my thing is this, is that you look at it and you go, well, people don't want to just go work for nothing. And here's the problem. So you're working out there, and let's say you made $3,500 a month. Inflation hits. Now all that extra discretionary income you had is gone because of inflation. Oh, I got a pay raise. How much you get? $2, $3. Okay, good. Now I'm back up to that $1,500 mark. You're still in the same spot.
Yeah.
You're still in the same position.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changed. Your position worsened, and then you got better.
Yep.
And I think that's where people are starting to say, you know what? I got to figure something else out.
Yeah.
I got to get investment properties. I got to get a job, a business that I got going on the side. Esmeralda's doing stuff. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got investment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to get up.
Why do you put no? I believe investment properties, you'll always win. Even if, let's say that you bought the home at a time where it was overpriced, and you had to pay the difference. If you really calculate the time, if somebody else will pay your investment, we'll just say they pay off $90,000 and you end up paying $30,000, you still win.
Right.
because you didn't pay the full 90. Someone else did. Even though you came out of pocket and it was maybe $500, $400, that's somebody else is paying your investment that one day will be paid for.
Straight cash flow.
Yeah. And then that you're building for your future, you're building for your retirement, you're building for your family, and you should always build for a legacy under you. That it should always be better, right? But it starts with you. And then anybody under you should be better, and it just gets better and better. And I don't know, it's a power of a compound to
Let me say
build.
this. You follow her rules and you're going to get somebody like Ruby cleaning your floors. That's what I think. So if you want Ruby, talk to Esmeralda because she knows what's all about right here.
Property
Right?
Little
investments.
Ruby.
Ruby, hey, Ruby, clean those
I
floors,
was going to call
girl.
her Chiquita, but I was like, all right, let me just call her Ruby.
Ruby,
Man.
man. Yeah. So, I mean, you going back to the whole thing with the, you know, you look at the jobs report, recession, right? Everybody talks about it. Job openings are still happening. You still have over 11 million jobs opened, right? Or opening up. You know, everybody talks about rates and what's going to happen with them. And, you know, like I said, I mean, if things don't change, people are going to look for other alternate routes. They have to, right? For survival. Yeah. We're in a survival position, I think, for a lot of people. This is not like, hey, man, we're going to take, you know, people have money, but we're going to take that trip. It's now like, okay, how do I counter something I can't control? And I think that's where people are at. You got to counter the inflation issue. Mortgage rates, you can't really talk yourself into it right now. I get it. Mortgages and mortgage payments, I can't really talk myself into. Dude, I have people that have $3,500, $4,000 mortgages, and they're like, man, I make $6,000. You know, it's like, well, okay, you got a car payment, you got, you know, insurance,
food,
you got, you know, bills, and guess what?
Girlfriend.
Across the board, has bills gone up for everybody here?
Oh yeah.
Yes, it has.
Oh yeah.
Like living expenses. I'm not talking about like going out and getting a credit card. I'm talking about like electric bill. I'm talking about water bills. I'm talking about like your, you know, trash. I think trash was $50. Now it's $65, right?
Yeah.
So all these things keep going up, and it's like, well, inflation's there. Is that the excuse? Hey, man, another $20 inflation. Because I think everybody's trying to figure this out, and it's just hard. Everybody can't hedge against what's going on.
I agree, and I feel like a big thing Juan would know even better than me is supply chain issues, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that a big reason? Like you're putting the cost on consumers. I'm not sure, for big businesses if they really have to do that, but I'm sure you know more about that than me. But are you seeing a lot of supply chain issues and prices going up, so you have to put that on your consumer?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, we go through that on a daily basis. To be honest with you, we do understand that gas has come up, and transportation companies in order
they charge you more, right?
They charge you more, for transportation fees, the port, the taxes. I mean, everything overall, even decreases on pay for drivers nowadays. They ask for more money, so everything and all those charges
trickles down.
Correct, trickles down ultimately to the consumer. So
got it.
Let's go over this this graph here that I saw, and I want to show you guys here. So look at everything that we see: mining and lodging. You have construction, manufacturing, wholesale trade, retail trade, transportation and warehousing, utilities. Everything across the board, even government jobs are up. Nice. Everything. And look, I'm going to say this. So government doesn't want 0%, people not, unemployed, right? Unemployment can't be at 0%. So that tells you that every single sector increased for the last month of August, right?
That's
We're
crazy.
in September now. Isn't that crazy?
I don't see it in my personal life. That's why
look
it's
at
crazy.
retail. Look at the highest education and health services, professional and business services. 68,000 jobs were created in August or offered in August for jobs. So there's nothing negative here. So I'm just saying, look, I think that when you look at the negative part, I don't feel that an economy is good, or at least the Fed doesn't feel an economy is good unless you have a higher percentage of unemployment. And a lot of these employment jobs that you're seeing are not people that are highly educated with degrees, master degrees, or college educated where they've graduated. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's where these numbers are coming from. Government jobs. I mean, it's crazy. Across the board, all sectors are up. So
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Nowadays the workforce has to be more. Technology is coming up on a daily basis. Honestly, also in the construction world, that we have to keep up with that and train our employees. And especially when it comes to machinery, CNC machines, digital photograph, book match and pattern match for slabs and CAD designs, building cabinets.
Right.
It's a combination nowadays of not just craftsmanship of somebody making your cabinet, it's actually how to operate the machine to make those cabinets for you. So it's
It's now you got to know how to operate
Correct.
the machine and the computer, the brain of the machine.
Correct,
To
yeah.
make this all work, because before you did it with your hands, right?
correct. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy, but it's part of evolution, right? And for everybody and every industry is nowadays what's required in order to do business.
Do you think you have to pay workers more, Juan, since now they're more skilled, like in a variety of topics, like you were just saying?
Of course,
Yeah.
yes. To be ultimately, we have to pay what people are worth. Otherwise, I mean, it's gonna be impossible for me to keep the good guys
Exactly.
working for
to
me and
get
then
quality
go somewhere else. Yeah,
and talent.
we become a talent trainer. You know, they
Right.
we train them, we're doing good, but we don't want to pay them what they deserve, so they go somewhere else.
leave.
You know, so they leave. Yeah.
Makes
All right,
sense.
let's go over some questions here. We're going to do these questions real quick, and we're going to run out of here because we running out of time. So we just have a couple today. So Tim says employers are kind of predatory. Incomes have not matched housing prices and cost of living. I agree. We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Income has not matched that. Also, Vera said, what are your thoughts on trending topics like quiet quitting and overemployed?
Quiet quitting.
Yeah, do you know what that is?
Yeah, so it's pretty much, it's like a big trend on TikTok. It's pretty much just like when you don't quit, but you just do like the bare minimum to
Correct.
like get the job done, right? So it's like, I'm not gonna go out my way and stress on the weekend about my job. You know, I'm just gonna do what I have to do Monday through Friday. Pretty much coasting. I would say that's what older generations would call it. You're just coasting by. I think.
What about people that just like,
don't know.
take like a boombox and a microphone and they quit as they sing and just say, I'm out of this. You know what? I mean, do you think that that's happening like a lot right now?
Oh yeah, great way to get a referral. That's for sure.
Probably not a good idea, but
It's like, I'm out of this.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go back over here. Let's talk a little bit more on some of these questions. Also, what are your thoughts? Okay, so we talked about that. Fast food combos used to be $10. Now they're 20. Family of four could get sodas and pizza for $20. Now it's like $50. Man, I can't agree. I said I can't agree. Sorry.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree totally.
Dude, I went to this place. I think, what was it called? I forgot. It was like this fast food place. And it was like $9 for something, right? And I was like, yeah, I just want the same thing. It was like $18. I went right through the drive-thru. I said, I think I'm at the wrong place. I was like, I'm not paying $18 because I power sized a drink and a soda. I'm like, man, I'm out
was
of
it
here.
Fat Burger?
No, it wasn't Fat Burger. It was that one.
Because that's about what you paying. It's
Is it
about,
at Fat
yeah,
Burger?
it's about almost $20 now for
Dude,
that combo.
inflation's here to stay, right? I mean, you think about it.
Go to In-N-Out. It's the
Yeah, I was gonna
same
say,
price.
Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out, or
In-N-Out's
quality,
gone
I'm
up?
good.
No, it hasn't. The
I
same
think-
price.
I
Chick-fil-A
think
as
it has
well.
a little bit, yeah. I think it has gone a
Yeah?
little bit, yeah, in and out, just a little bit though.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it did.
I think they charge per
McDonald's,
fry
though,
now, right?
is astronomic. Yeah.
They can have my money
crazy.
then. I love their fries.
It's like, all right, you got about 80 fries.
There you go.
$25, please.
Yeah.
I'll pay it.
Right?
But you know
I mean,
actually who has a really good price? Sam's Club and Costco.
Yeah.
You get your slider pizza and your soda extra large for less than $5.
Hot dog 99 cents
There you
since
go.
before I was
I
born.
feel like Costco's expensive. I was there in the weekend, and I felt like Sam's is.
I'm a Sam's Club guy.
Yeah.
I
So
agree
you're
with you too,
okay.
yeah.
Let's take a vote. Sam's Club or Costco?
Sam's.
Depends
Sam's
on
Club.
the. It depends on what it is.
Sam's Club.
Oh yeah.
You're Sam's Club.
I'm a
yeah.
Sam's Club girl too.
You're a Sam's Club.
Way
I
better.
love their pizza. I
Really?
agree.
Better prices and even more quantity.
Well, I'm a Costco person.
All right.
You can't beat a hot dog and a soda for $1.50 that hasn't changed for 30 years.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's all beef.
I agree.
You know what I mean? If you got all beef, it's not like there's not no fillers. It's all beef.
Yeah.
Hopefully
That's
it
what
is.
you think, Dan. You don't know.
They just crowded.
We're gonna pull
though.
IKEA
They're
on you.
crowded.
So, anyways, last thing is this. So we're not. Do you guys feel like? So I always say this question, everybody. Do you feel like we're in a recession right now?
Personally,
Eyeball
yes.
test. You do.
I think so.
You do.
Yeah.
Why
too,
do you
yeah.
feel that way?
I mean, I know that report looks amazing. I'm just going by at least maybe it's a niche for what people I know, but I don't know people getting hired. I know people getting fired. I know my rent has went up like crazy. I know everyone I know is rent. Everything expenses have gone up, wages haven't gone up. It's in my opinion harder to get a good job. Yeah, like I said, you could work at Wendy's for $10 an hour, but I mean that's not really what most people I know want to do. So yeah, and just those reasonings, I would say, yeah, everything's more expensive and your income has gone down or stayed the same.
I would have to agree. You guys agree the same?
Yeah, I agree with the recession too. I mean, we just can base it on the data, for the last 2 quarters.
Right.
And then inflation overall. And we, as a consumers, be precautious on spending more than what we need to, and just adapt it to the new prices and everything overall. So, yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to end the show. For all of you out there that did not subscribe and like the channel, I'm after you now. I got your information. I got your IP. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go into that. But I want to say thank you, everybody out there, for watching this show that watched the show. And if you guys are first timers, please like the channel, subscribe to the channel. Also, we need help. Hit the notification bell so that way you know when the next show is going to be on, which is on Saturday. But we need your help. We need your support. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers right now. We're hitting right around 450, I think. So we just need 550 more and we're good. I mean, so I want you guys to really pay attention to this and hit that button. It doesn't take long. It's just one of those. Esmeralda, thank you for coming on. You have anything else to say?
Hey, support Dan and let's grow his broadcast. He does a great job. So, and we all enjoy being here, right? So.
I mean, I enjoy being here. Hopefully you guys enjoy being here.
Yeah.
Mr. Juan Ortiz, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on, sir.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate the opportunity to expose,
Yeah.
To put my business out there with everybody that is listening and tuning in. So,
We're blasting you.
yeah.
Dude, we're going to say El Salvador, right? Is
Yeah,
it El
that's
Salvador,
it,
right?
El Salvador,
El Salvador, you need to go to Mr. Juan Ortiz.
That's it.
And then also Mr. Joseph Loria from
Yes.
Simply Vegas. The
Yes,
first year in.
Yeah, continue to support me and Dan. It's a recession. And if you have any questions, contact me at 702-449-6089.
All right, guys, if you guys have any questions, you guys know we're here every Tuesday and Saturday. We'll be here on Saturday. Please, like I said, like the channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you at the next one. Thank you for watching the French Workbench Podcast. You can find us here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. to find out all the information on real estate and financing here in Las Vegas. Also, check us out on our LV Home Professionals website. You can find your future home there, a lot of good information, and